Over time, running can sometimes lead to injuries in the body. We can also become quite sore in joint areas and areas where the connective tissue has been damaged by the repetitive nature, the jarring of the joints, especially if we're running on hard surfaces. Use this next sequence as a way of restoring the body, as a way of working through any injuries that you may encounter. Remember that the sequence should be done very mindfully, keeping integrity in mind, and also keeping in mind the idea or the intention of healing anything that may be awry. As we move deeper into some of the connective tissue, you may find sensations that are overwhelming at times. Only go into these poses as deeply as you need to experience a sense of relief and release, and always follow your breath. Coming onto your mat now, find a seat. A lower foundation. Scan your body from top to bottom. Notice the areas that you know intuitively that you need to move into. Try and find the inner voice, the quiet one, that tells you where you should and shouldn't go, where to be mindful in the body, where to let go of the ego and move into a more restorative state of mind. Bring your hands out in front of you and draw yourself forward onto your hands and your knees. Pushing down firmly into your palms, see if your knees can float a few inches off the mat to generate a bit of heat here. Flexing your feet, turning your knees from side to side, opening through the sides. Again, just moving as a way of scanning the body. Bring yourself back now into that modified downward facing dog where our knees are bent, the heels are lifted, and we're releasing from the lower back. And then straighten only one leg. Soften in again. And straighten the opposite leg. Focusing all of your awareness on one leg at a time. Now allow both legs to straighten back. Pour your body into the frame of this pose. Modify it as much as you need to. Step your right leg between your hands. The left leg is active behind you, bearing a little bit of weight in your hands. The right arm now extends out in front of you and slowly sweeps out to the side. As this happens, roll to the outer edge of both feet. Activate your back left leg. Don't sink completely down to the floor. Going into the IT bands, going into the hips here. Move slowly with grace as you bring that right hand back in front of you. Again, rotate to the outer edge of the feet as we sweep the right hand back towards the back of your mat. Flex your feet as you do this. Inhale as you reach forward. Exhale again, reaching back. Inhale as that right arm extends out in front of you. Actively pushing your heels in two directions, bring your hands down to the mat for support and lower your left knee. Lean forward with your tailbone. Interwoven fingers behind you, all but your index fingers, pointing your index fingers towards the floor. Broaden across the chest. Move into your left hip flexor here and the back of your right leg. Back of that right leg should feel open, but your right leg is active. Now straighten your right leg and curl your toenails into your shin. And then bring the toes back to the floor. Again, flex your foot, lean back, pull your right sit bone back, and then bring your foot flush against the mat. Now to go deeper into this, that left hand can help your toes roll back. Before you sink forward, pushing into your palms, and step into plank. Exhale into Chaturanga Dandasana, strengthening through the core and the upper body. Inhale to plank. Exhale into that modified downward facing dog. And straightening your legs, pushing your heels down, releasing your head. Now the left foot steps between the hands. Supporting yourself with your feet, touching down with your fingertips. Left hand extends out in front of you, slowly out to the side, and then all the way back towards the back of your mat as you roll to the outer edge of your feet, flexing your feet to protect your knees. Inhale as you sweep that left arm forward. Exhale again as you reach your left hand towards the back of your mat. Roll to the outer edge of your feet, active toes here. Inhale as you reach your left hand forward again. Third and final time, exhale and reach towards the back of the mat. Inhale as you extend forward. Exhale and lower the hand down. Bring your right kneecap down and hook your toes. Now slowly start to lift the torso, interwoven fingers behind you, moving into our hip flexor here. All but the index finger, and that index finger is pointing down. Open through your chest, connecting with the back of your left leg, the front of your right leg. That left heel is rooted firmly into the floor. Now bring your hands down on either side of the foot, straighten your left leg out, flexing your left foot as you do so. Now bring your toes back down to the mat, then lean back and lift. Slowly start to lower. Lean back and lift. If you'd like that extra bit of sensation, use your right hand to gently pull your toes back towards your shin. Slowly release, bring your hands forward, weighting your hands, stepping your leg back, finding plank pose, and breathing. Dropping into Chaturanga Dandasana, flip your feet this time, inhale and transition to upward facing dog with a lift. And then again, transition into Chaturanga through plank, into your downward facing dog. The right leg now lifts, keeping your hips incredibly even, then rolling that right leg behind you. Allow your hip to open here. Notice the difference. Notice how now we're focusing on the inside of our left thigh, not the outside of the left leg. Even your hips back out for a full extension. And then bring your right foot to the outside of your left hand in that active pigeon pose. Bring your left kneecap to the floor, point your toes straight back, and let's go in a bit more passive. We're pulling the left foot in towards our tailbone and walking our hands towards the right shin. Lining our collarbone up with that right shin. Come into the most passive pigeon pose that you possibly can. This can be where you stay, especially if you know you're experiencing tension in the lower back and hips. Allow yourself to move down with gravity's embrace towards the earth and try and surrender into the pose rather than forcing it. If you know you have a little more room and want something with more sensation, try scooting your right foot closer to your left hand. Eventually that shin will run parallel to the front of the mat. Take your left leg straight back behind you and come onto your forearms. You can even create a nice little shelf for your third eye with your thumbs, interweaving your fingers and placing your forehead on the thumbs. Let yourself again breathe. Remember, being passive in these poses is important to move into the connective tissue, to restore the joints. If gravity calls you down even further, you can spread your elbows and rest your chin on your knuckles. Every time you exhale will be a new opportunity to soften somewhere that you may be unnecessarily gripping. Feel the weight of your left hip moving down towards the floor. Soften the gripping that you may feel in the back of your right hip. Very slowly, let's come out of this pose mindfully, pushing into the palms. Hook your left toes under, float your hips first, using those core muscles. And then extending that right leg straight back behind you. Lower your right foot down. Lower into Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing dog on the inhale. Back through Chaturanga Dandasana into downward facing dog. As you pour your body into this frame, you might notice a difference. Lift your left leg now, even hips to start, and then allow the hip to open so that you note the difference, the different sensations, the different purposes. As you open your left hip, you should feel the radiating stretch through your right inner thigh, even in your right hamstring. Even out your hips again. Use strength from your core here as we bring that left foot around our right wrist. Lowering down into the pigeon prep. Rock over onto your hip, bending your right knee back behind you. Try and square your shoulders and your collarbone with your left shin, and then drop onto your forearms. Be passive here. This is very yin, allowing ourselves to move down with gravity's embrace, allowing ourselves to open and surrender where we need to let go of tension rather than creating more of it. Going deeper into the hips, pigeon pose, bringing your left shin towards the front of the mat, taking your right leg straight back behind you, and then again, dropping down onto that lower foundation, elbows, forearms. Slow, steady cycles of breath. Note where resistance is and try and wash it away with your breath. Have patience and care. Let go of any labels, any judgments that you may have. See any resistance that you find as an opportunity or a teacher. A way to connect a little bit more deeply with our body, and definitely more honestly. If you find that call to go deeper into this, drop your chin onto your knuckles, spreading your elbows wide. Melting down slowly, listening for those invitations when space is created, and moving into that space with grace. When you're ready, push down into your palms. Bring your right leg forward now. Find a solid foundation here as you draw that right leg up, moving from your hip, going into double pigeon pose. Take your right ankle on top of your left knee. Try and allow your shins to stack one on top of the other, running as parallel as you possibly can to the front of your mat. Smooth out any tension you may be holding on to in your right hip. Encourage softness. To go deeper into this, make sure your tailbone stays connected to the floor. Bring your hands forward on your mat. Keep flexing your right foot, protecting your knee here. Remember, the intention is not the knee, the intention is the hip and a hip release. So soften from your lower back. Soften from your tailbone. Feel that softening sweep around your right hip and move all the way through the knee to the toes. Lean back now as we prepare to release and transition through boat pose, cultivating strength through our core, noting the differences between the two legs. And then as we come in on the other side, our left leg moving from the hip, flexing that foot for protection as we place the ankle above the knee, stacking your shins. Connect both sit bones to the floor. Keep flexing your feet to protect the knees, and then let go of any residual tension in that left hip. Breathe. Breathe to the resistance. Breathe with the intention of creating space and being soft. If you can, bring your hands in front of you, but only doing so if it's available to you while keeping your foundation solid, the foundation of your sit bones and your tailbone. Lengthening your spine, feel a lifting through the back of your neck and the top of your head. Slowly sitting back up, let's release the left leg, bring our right leg up to match. Strong connection to your core as you open to a low boat, extending your legs forward, then bringing your knees in. Extending your legs forward, open up, draw the navel in towards the spine as you bring your knees in. Use your breath here. Remember the power of your exhale, the power of the inhale. Inhale now as you lift your arms and your legs, and exhale, lower your heels towards the floor without a sound. Smooth the tension down your legs, all the way out through your feet. Draw your toes very gently towards your shins, bringing your elbows to either side of your knees, down towards the floor. We should feel this sensation radiating from the bottom of our feet all the way through the legs into the hips. Now bring your right foot up. Turn the base of your right foot to the base of your left thigh, opening through the hips here. Drop your right knee to the side and bring your right hand behind you. Try and square your collarbone up to that strong and long left leg. And then rotate around, going into a gentle twist. Look past your right shoulder. You can use some of the strength from your left arm to help you rotate more deeply. Now look at that left leg and slide your hand down towards the foot. Keep your collarbone open and reach your right hand behind you. Broad open chest, rooting through your foundation, and then extend your right hand up. Possibly extend your right hand over your head, keeping your chest open. Same direction as that long left leg. A connection can be made by grabbing onto your toes, Your left shoulder is under your right shoulder, both sit bones pushing down. Release your right hand to the sky. Use your core muscles to help lift the torso, and rotate your hands towards the front of your mat. Bring your right leg up and cross your right leg over that strong and long left leg. Preparing now for another twist, use your right hand to smooth the torso around your right thigh. Take your left arm up now and hook it over your right knee and go into a deep, active twist, looking past your right shoulder. The right hand is behind you to help prop your spine up, going for length and then going for rotation. Both sit bones are still connected to the floor. As you inhale, look forward. Release your left hand, your right hand. Both hands reach skyward and then down to your feet. Again, bend your elbows and pull your toes back towards your shins. Slowly sweep your torso away from your legs, bringing that left leg up and in. Bottom of the foot facing your right inner thigh, the left knee falls open. Right hand grabs onto your left knee and your left hand is directly behind your tailbone, again encouraging lengthening your spine. Cleansing those digestive organs, wringing out your back. Now look forward towards your right foot. Take your right hand, grab onto your right foot, and release your left hand back. Extend in the opposite direction, reverse diagonal line. Now going for a side extension, take your left hand first up towards the sky and then sweep it over the top of your head and try connecting to your foot. Again, we're trying to stack the shoulders here. Stacking the left shoulder above the right shoulder, anchoring down through both sit bones and through your left knee. Inhale as your left arm lifts and then sweeps forward. Bring that left kneecap up and then cross your left foot over your long, strong right leg. Then from here, our left hand can help encourage the torso to roll over to the left. Take your right hand up and hook it around your knee. Gazing past your left shoulder, use that hand behind you to support your spine to give you an extra lift. Draw the navel deeply in towards the spine. Again, help yourself rotate. Flexing your right foot gives you that strong foundation. When you're ready to come out, reach both hands towards the front of your mat. Lift your left leg, lift your right leg. Inhale as you open to a low boat. Exhale, draw your knees in towards your chest. Inhale, lift your arms as you open. Exhale, draw your knees in towards your chest. Moving with your breath in and out of low and high boat, creating strength. Then dropping your feet back down to the mat, bottom of the feet rotate towards one another, opening our hips and our inner thighs. Try opening the bottom of your feet just as you would open a book. Even try wiggling your fingers inside your toes, pulling your toes back as you come into an active cobbler pose. Bring your elbows to your inner thighs and then push your elbows towards your knees here, opening your inner thighs even more. Go for extension in the spine. Steady your breath out. Again, quite a dynamic pose. Lots of things, lots of sensations occurring at the same time. Try spreading your awareness evenly through your body. And no matter what's happening inside your body or on your mat, your breath is that constant. Now cup your toes, push your feet together. Bring your knees together and feet flat against the mat, but a bit wider than your hips. Very gently take your time, ease yourself down onto your back, release your head, and bring your arms beside your torso. Moving your feet even further back. Dropping your right kneecap down towards the center line, and using your left leg, cross it over your knee. Use the heaviness of your left leg to pull your right knee down towards the mat. Take your right hand over your head and rest your left hand on your belly. Feel the ilium bones here, colliding on the pelvis. Breathe. Relax. Restore. Very slowly release. Let's switch sides. Now we want the left knee falling in. Bottom of the foot is still touching. Right leg crosses over, bearing weight to help move that knee towards the floor. Your shoulders stay stable, your left hand travels over your head, your right hand is on your belly to watch your breath. Roll your breath all the way down to your hand, isolating that area in the lower back, sacral area. Soften and relax. And then when you're ready, release. Bottom of the feet flat against the mat, hands on your belly. Let your knees fall open, and then extend your legs to the end of the mat and release your hands beside your hips. Now your entire body surrenders, finding Shavasana, making those subtle adjustments that allow your body to commit to a few moments of stillness. Knowing that when this happens, we give ourselves the opportunity to be aware, to notice what's taking place inside of our bodies, finding that sense of internal unity. All aspects of ourselves are as they should be. Letting go of those labels. Letting go of any judgments that we may have on any injuries that we may have currently or have had in the past. Let those stories go. Allow yourself simply to be here. Stop doing and just be. Follow your breath. Use your breath to restore your body. Use your breath to restore your mind. Stay as long as you like in this place. Longer is usually better. Give yourself a few extra minutes to completely relax, restore. And again, carry this radiance that you yourself have cultivated through your movements and your breath with you for the rest of your day. Allow it to illuminate your being from the inside out, and allow yourself to share and spread that light to all those who you care about in your inner and your outer circles. Namaste.